So who is Jonathan Joseph Sunstrum and where did it come from? Well, a short snippet goes like this. Born in 1960 in Kindersley, Saskatchewan, moved to Saskatoon. Graduated from Holy Cross High School. In 1979 I moved to Edmonton, worked for McDonald's restaurants for 5 years. Moved down to Calgary and Canmore in 1985. And in May of 1985, I bought a little restaurant called Mountain Pizza in Bragg Creek. I did that for 5 years. Took about a year off in 1990 when I sold the operation, and then I took over the Powderhorn Saloon for 9 years and 9 months to the day, which is what I would call a tenure. I have to say this much in terms of my management style, although a little bit unique, it's also creative, outgoing, and conscientious pertaining to the people. Is it perfect? Am I perfect? No, nobody's perfect. However, I can tell you this much, that just about any store, if not every store I worked at, staff retention was never a problem. Staff morale increased, so did sales, so did profitability. Work doesn't necessarily have to be an unhappy place or space. There's that saying that misery loves company, while other people say the company loves misery. I almost sometimes think that there are places and spaces that, in essence, try to keep staff demoralized so that they're just not motivated to rise up and challenge certain things that aren't right, and that's just the way it is, and therefore it can't change. Well, heaven to bitsies. I mean, is that what we extol upon our children? I think sometimes the whole dialogue process has been hijacked by certain people in positions of power. I believe that when you're in a position of power, it's accountability, not 10-second little clips, and not running away and avoiding the media and just saying that's it. Although, you know what? With the apathy that we have in this town pertaining to municipal elections, hey, why should a person be accountable? I'm not interested in that kind of approach. I want to hear your issues, but I also want to hear your solutions. I want you to think about the solutions before you bring the complaints, because heaven knows I haven't got much more hair to lose at this point in time. Let me just extol a little bit about some of my experiences as it translates to the hospitality industry, where as a person may say, well, geez, you don't have a political degree, you don't have this and that degree. That is very true. Although neither does the incumbent, and neither did the previous premier of this province, who had a grade 10 education. If you're going to try to tell me that to run a city is harder than running a restaurant that's open 24 hours a day, I beg to differ. I think the context is just a little bit different. Nonetheless, so I did the corporate thing for a while. I set out on my own and had a successful little pizza restaurant in Bragg Creek. And then I took on a bigger challenge, which is the Powderhorn Saloon. It astounded many people with trials and tribulations that I encountered that I continued to maintain an equilibrium, declaring bankruptcy, moved into the city, which I always watched from afar. And I was always very curious about the mechanisms and how things work in this city. And as time began to transpire with, dare I say, alarm, I'm going, we're now beginning to reap what we sow. How about some real debates in this city pertaining to where things are going? Cut through the BS, cut through the red tape, cut through the bureaucrats, not the administrators, the bureaucrats, and get to the heart of the issue. So if you're wondering how I got to this point, it's pretty straight ahead. I've had the notion for many years to do this, of course, and the question is, when is the perfect time? The passing of my mother 3 years ago really impacted my life, my late great mother. And then 2 years ago, my brother Mark dying suddenly made me snap to attention and say, when is the perfect time? When's the perfect time to get married? When's the perfect time to have a child? When's the perfect time to run for mayor? There is no perfect time. You never have all your ducks in line, but I decided to throw caution to the wind and say, if not now, when? So in that context, will things be perfect? No. Do I have something to say? Well, I guess I'll let you be the judge of that. Thank you for your time.